A working man, a businessman, and a government economist are all driving separately out in the country, when, by a staggering coincidence, they all run out of gas at exactly the same place. So they all get out of their cars and assess the situation. The working man says, "Well, it's only a couple of miles to the next town. I can make that." And he begins pushing his car. The businessman thinks, it's a lot of work pushing a car. I can walk there, buy a gas can, fill it up, and bring it back, probably in less time it would take me to push the car there. The time and effort I save will be well worth the price of the gas can, and I'll keep the gas can in case this happens again. So he begins walking, but then he just happens to glance over his shoulder and sees the government economist at the front of his car pushing it backwards. So he calls out to him, "Hey, you're pushing your car the wrong way! There's nothing back that way for 20 miles! The government economist replies, "Yeah, I know, but I was driving forward when I ran out of gas." So going forward is the wrong direction, but if I push it backwards, the gas tank should fill back up in no time. How many politicians does it take to change a light bulb? 8. 1 to form a subcommittee on light bulb oversight. 1 to create a federal department of illumination. 1 to pass regulations on light bulb changing procedures. 1 to subsidize the changing of the bulb. 1 to levy an excise on tungsten filaments to pay for it. 1 to give money to favored corporations for light bulb stimulus. 1 to produce a bunch of colorful graphs showing the number of jobs created in the process. And 1 to blame the free market when it doesn't get done. A Keynesian and an Austrian economist are stuck in an elevator together. The Keynesian starts making fun of Austrian economists and challenges the Austrian to an intelligence test. "I'll bet you money I can answer more questions than you." The Austrian keeps refusing, since he doesn't like gambling, but the Keynesian is so insistent that finally the Austrian says, "Okay, but you gotta give me odds." "Okay, fine, I'll give you 10 to 1 odds. Every time you cannot answer one of my questions, you'll pay me $10. Every time I cannot answer one of yours, I'll pay you 100. "Okay, you go first." "Okay, what is the distance from Earth to the edge of the galaxy?" Well, the Austrian says, "I have no idea," and hands him $10. Then he says, "Okay, my turn. What goes up a hill on 4 legs, comes back down on 3, goes back up on 2, and comes back down again on 5. Well, the Keynesian thinks and thinks with all his might. Finally, just as the elevator starts moving again, he gives up and says, "You got me. I don't know," and hands the Austrian $100. Well, at this point, the elevator dings, the doors open, and the Austrian begins to walk out. But the Keynesian grabs him and says, "Hey, what was the answer to your question?" And the Austrian says, "I have no idea," and hands him $10. How many Keynesians does it take to screw in a light bulb? 1. He props up the light bulb and waits for circular flow to do the rest.